Good morning, it's Saturday the 2nd of April. Welcome to GMTV. Here's the news. Officials from the Health and Safety Executive will begin an inquiry later this morning into the fairground accident in which a 9-year-old boy died. 2 other youngsters and the boy's father were injured in the accident, which happened when a metal bar fell onto a water chute. This from Jay McCormick.
The Easter holiday day out turned to tragedy when an overhead metal light fitting crashed down onto the moving ride. Tim Morgan, a passenger, was killed instantly. His father sitting next to him and 2 12-year-old boys on the ride are still in hospital this morning in a serious condition. Health and safety inspectors will return to the fun fair in Porthcawl in Miglamorgan this morning to find out what caused the accident. Strong winds prevented them starting their investigation yesterday.
You can appreciate we're about 30 to 40 feet above ground level in an exposed position, so we had to stop the investigation. So we're returning today with our fingers crossed that the winds will have dropped to a safe level so we can actually start to find out exactly what happened and get to the root cause of it.
Police say it's too soon to apportion any blame.
At this moment in time, it would be premature for me to pass comment and other than to wait for the result of the examination.
The amusement park was shut after the accident, and the Health and Safety Executive says until their investigation is complete, the ride will remain closed. Jane McCormick, GMTV News.
Police are investigating the cause of a road crash in the Grampian region of Scotland which killed 5 people. A mother, a father, their 2 sons died in the accident, which happened when their car collided with a lorry. The 5th victim was the son of a police superintendent who was called to the scene of the accident. In Rome last night, the Pope delivered an emotional speech calling for Christian unity. He also warned against the world that he said was trying to turn its back on religion. His address was given at the traditional Easter ceremony at Rome's Colosseum. In Russia, an official investigating the air crash which killed 75 people 10 days ago has said the disaster might have been caused by the pilot letting his son take the plane's controls. The revelation comes after experts studied the black box flight recorder recovered from the wreckage. The official claims the pilot's son must have made a mistake, which put the aircraft into an uncontrollable dive. Time now for a look back at some of the week's top news stories. The IRA offered to cease violence over the Easter holiday. The church launched a campaign to get people back into its pews this Easter, and an abandoned monkey's been given a cuddly toy as a surrogate mother. But we start with the vicious killing of Nikki Conroy, who was stabbed at her school in Middlesbrough.
5 days after Nikki was stabbed to death in a school classroom, her parents Peter and Diane are still coming to terms with her death.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming what's happened. It's too much to bear, really, sometimes. Most times.
Nikki's parents asked to speak to GMTV to thank the many people who've sent them letters of sympathy. The home is now a shrine to the 12-year-old, whose school photograph is now known to millions across the country.
I don't think we could be much lower, but if it wasn't for people who've written cards...
It's so comforting.
It's helping us so much, and we get people phoning up and saying, we don't like to bother you, but every little phone call has been a help.
Peter and Diane describe Nikki as the perfect daughter.
She was absolutely beautiful. All the teachers, we went to see the teachers at Parents' Night. I said what a good little girl she was, and she was very clever and just so loving.
The family are now preparing for Nikki's funeral, which is to take place on Tuesday. They're determined it be a celebration of her life. Eileen Marino, GMTV News.
By coincidence, John Major was in Belfast as news of the IRA ceasefire announcement broke. Addressing business leaders, the Prime Minister dismissed it, saying it wasn't enough.
Temporary ceasefires are, of course, welcome for the peace of mind that they bring for a period. But unless they become permanent and unless they become irrevocable, they will not end the conflict. The provisionals must come to appreciate that violence drives them up a blind alley. The only road that will take them forward is the road to democratic politics.
There had been growing speculation the Provisionals would announce a halt to hostilities over Easter. In a statement issued from Dublin, they said the ceasefire from midnight on Tuesday had no conditions attached, but added, "We hope that the British government will accept this further opportunity and utilise it to the best advantage of the British and Irish people." Sinn Féin have repeatedly called for the British government to clarify the Downing Street Declaration. Gerry Adams has renewed the call again this morning, saying there should now be direct talks with his party as a matter of urgency. Alan Fisher, GMTV News.
Radio adverts are part of the C of E's bid to attract new worshippers.
The triumph of good over evil, yes. By what's his name? Christ, the patron saint of full dairy milk.
It's a soft-edged campaign with a hard centre. The last time they advertised, congregations increased by 17%. This Easter, they're running radio and TV adverts in selected areas.
I think the church only needs to advertise as part of a total strategy of communication. And let's face it, the church does have a problem of communication.
11:70 a.m. in Buckinghamshire is the first commercial Christian radio station in the country. It's already playing the new adverts.
I think we've hidden too long behind our church doors, and we've not used the medium which is before us, which is television and radio, to explain what we believe is a good message.
The clergy will be hoping the good message brings more people into their churches this Easter. Mary Gowan, GMTV News.
Rather than trying to raise the colobus monkey Tawai themselves, keepers took the unusual step of supplying the stuffed toy. The monkey's real mother, apparently suffering from stress, had rejected Tawai at birth.
She was very cold and quite close to death. We picked her up, took her over to our animal hospital, where we put her under heat and revived her around after a few hours.
The toy is the closest the keepers can get to teaching Tawai about her own species.
She sits in a more natural position than she would with just a rolled up piece of toweling or something like that. If we tried to take her away, she'd just scream.
But it's important that Tawai does learn to readapt to her real mother. Keepers bring the monkeys together once a day and hope Tawai will soon be able to tell the real and the stuffed apart. Lucy Vandenbrol, GMTV News.
And finally, a strange story from the heart of the West Country. Two brothers, a new cottage industry and the sounds of the Australian outback have got the locals talking. We sent our own Rod McRae to solve the mystery.
In the heart of English cider country, a sound that in polite company you'd call unusual, but then not everyone's polite. Andrew and Duncan Collier care little about rude comments, because to them making Aboriginal didgeridoos is a thriving business to supply a craze that's fast catching on. Their garage is now a workshop where native English wood is scraped and chiselled into instruments making traditional tribal sounds from Australia.
It's just something different, really. It's something they look good, sound good, something that anybody can have a go at, anybody can learn how to play them.
They're already exporting to Europe, but they've one firm export target in mind: English didgeridoos to Australian Aborigines.
Yeah, they've mainly got their own, but if we could sell one to an Aborigine, you'd really feel that we've conquered it.
A cult instrument, music to some people's ears, to most... just a rude noise. Rod McRae, GMTV News.
And a look at the weather for the Easter weekend now. The unsettled weather will continue across the UK today. Last night's showers will carry on into the morning, mainly affecting the north and west of Britain, but one or two will work their way eastwards. There will again be the added ingredient of hail and rumbles of thunder. Even snow above around 800 feet. Many areas will see further showers this afternoon with occasional spells of sunshine. The best of the sunshine in the southeastern corner, where any showers ought to be fairly well scattered. It'll remain windy, especially in the north and west, where gales will continue to be a common feature. Temperatures ranging between 11 and 7 degrees, that's the mid-40s to low 50s Fahrenheit. Rain will move into the west overnight, pushing eastwards during Easter Sunday. It'll be followed by yet more showers that'll push across many western and central areas as the day progresses. Temperatures tomorrow similar to those of today. And that's it from the newsroom. Next on GMTV, Eat Your Words.